have some impact on where these tools are headed, I definitely go to Kuali.org and look at what it takes to become a community member. I also want to talk a little bit about the contribution model. This is something that we'll be rolling out pretty soon. And what this is going to define is how custom modules, like the Access Security module, or just individual little bits of code, how do those how are those shared in the community? Right now, it's kind of like, like in this call, you'll find out about something and you'll say, hey, how can we get this? And we'll talk to you about it. Well, what's being created is a centralized repository at the Kuali community at Kuali.org, where you can go and get all this these custom modules, or it could just be documentation or help files. All that sort of information will be up there, and it'll be very clear at what kind of level of maturity each of these contributions is. Whether it's minimal contribution, which is a very low bar to entry, whether it's kind of been approved by the community and has been QA'd, and then the final level is when it's ready to actually be included as part of the actual application. So for KFS, for example, we're going to put this contribution of the Access Security module up there soon. Once it's QA'd by the community, it'll go up to the next level, and then finally, we hope that it'll actually just become a part of the RICE or the financial system, so that when you get the financial system, it's just there. And we already know that there's 30 to 40 custom modules like that that are ready to go. A couple things about architecture, and I know I'm getting close on time, so I hope everyone's not getting dropped. If people have questions about that, definitely email me, or we'll stay on and answer some questions. But there are some options of how you actually implement these modules. You can build it embedded to your custom application using RICE. You can create a standalone server that is remotely accessed by all the applications, or you can actually mix the two. A lot of that just is it depends on performance of your network, performance of your database, your resources. If you've got a limited budget and you just want to have one server, you can run it all off one server. So there's a lot of options there, and caching becomes an important part of that. That's built into KIM and certainly built into KFS. But when you build your custom applications, it's a very important part to consider, just because of the sheer number of database and KIM calls for things like permission and responsibility. There's a lot going on there, so performance and caching is an absolutely critical thing to consider. So I know I'm out of time. If there's questions, I'll go through a few of them now, but I really appreciate everyone's time, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And anybody who stays on, we can unmute you if necessary, and we can talk a little longer, but I think we'll get cut off here by the conferencing system pretty soon. There's our emails. If you've got any questions, definitely hit us up afterwards, and anything we didn't get answered, we'll certainly help you out with, or if you want to do a phone call sometime, we're happy to get on the phone with you. Larry Rome has got a question, how will KIM work with the Kuali student module? That's definitely a good question for the KS team. It'll definitely be highly integrated with it. That's one of the ones that I know Kuali student does want to take advantage of. So I think it'll look very similar to how the financial system has taken advantage of KIM. There's some other parts of RICE that I know Kuali student may not take advantage of, like the nervous system. I think they've been looking at using tools like Google Web Toolkit. But so far as I know, they definitely want to take advantage of KIM and workflow. So a lot of that will look very similar to what's been done in KFS. Michael was asking, is there a self-service module where a user can request a privilege and is routed through workflow for approval? No, right now there is not. Mostly because the admin interface for setting up workflow routes or for setting up permissions and responsibilities is locked down to administrators. I think this is a good way that the tools that the extra module, the access security module that we're creating, that might be used for that. So that could be opened up to more users, and because everything in the system already uses workflow, you could let anybody go in there, and try and create new permissions or request permissions. It won't automatically get created until it goes through the approval process. And you can certainly add on to that approval process so that you could stop that and have it, go to their manager first, and then before it proceeds on to, someone in, more of an administrative position. Oh, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Glenn was asking, where would our Java guys start with learning how to be Rice developers? There's a few options there. If they're going to be a part of the community a couple times a year does a Rice boot camp. And the next best way is, and I'm not trying to be a salesman here, but we provide Rice training, and I know there's other vendors such as ourselves that do the same thing. So if you're looking for help with that, we can help guide you to a Rice training event. If you have a large team, we and others have come on campus and done that training. In fact, we're doing that next week at University of Washington. Or if you've got a small team, we'll be doing a quarterly event at our location if you just want to send a couple of people to. It usually takes a couple of weeks to become a Rice developer. If you're a good Java engineer, we usually recommend about 2 weeks. If you're new to Java, then that obviously extends it quite a bit, and there's some initial Java training that needs to go on. Julian was asking, we're developing in .NET now and looking at Rice as a middleware solution. What would be the limits of Rice for non-Java applications? The limits there, I don't think there are a lot of limits. It's more of just an extra layer of complexity and performance. Like I said, the service bus already exists as a very nice tool that can be used through web services for any other type of application. So obviously .NET is really slick and easy to use. It makes it really easy to use web services. So KSB exposes the WSDLs that .NET can ingest and easily connect up to those services. So if you want to take advantage of workflow in .NET, you certainly can. Where it gets, where there's extra work involved is, first there's setting up the web services, but then there's letting workflow know what your documents are in the other system. So it has to know what type of documents you have, what the workflow looks like, how does it access it. So there's a URL that says, okay, when it's approved, or when I need to show it to somebody, what's the URL to get to it. There's issues like that you really need to understand how workflow works and how to configure it. There's some small pieces. So for example, if you've got some code in workflow that you need to create to decide how to route something, that has to be done through a workflow plugin, and that plugin is usually done in Java. It could certainly be done in web services again as well. That's not as automated. You would have to do that and expose that service through the service bus. Again, there's lots of options. I know I've said it before, Rice is an extremely flexible infrastructure, but again, along with that comes a little bit of complexity. So it's really paramount that you go through the proper training and really learn about all these different modules you're going to take advantage of, so that it makes your implementation process that much easier. The next training, we'll send out some messages about that. Julian asked when's the next training at our location. We'll probably be doing that we're looking at probably May or June. So just keep that in mind, and if you want to contact us offline, or if that time frame doesn't fit, we just want to get people. We're anxious to build the community. So even if we have to direct you to one of our other partners that does the training, we're happy to do it. Well, I think that's all the questions we have for now, unless someone's got anything else. We really appreciate everyone's time, and like I said, you should be getting an email with a follow-up. We've got some questions for you guys, and you'll see an email about that, and that'll have some of our contact information if you need anything at all.